Hey, what's up, Utah? I want to invite all you guys to stand up for an event this Wednesday. I'm going to tell you a little more about in the end of this video, because I think it's time for people to stand up. But before I talk about that, I just wanted to let you know, remind you, Alexi and I have been committed to standing up and fighting this fight, regardless whether it's popular. When when we saw what was being built at the point of the mountain with Chelsea Hope, who was on our We Are the People show a lot with us about smart cities, we did everything we could to expose that and to wake people up and let people know what was happening there. When we found out about how Utah was more embedded with China than any other state in the country and how they were affecting our legislators, we did everything we could to expose that and call out our representatives. When we found out about all the election fraud, we did everything we could to wake people up and to expose that. When Phil Lyman ran for governor, we got behind him and fought for him. Every time we've seen, wrong or corruption in this state, we have stood and we have fought for it. Our lane's always been political. I've told you guys that before. However, we've been pulled into this a world that is literally, I don't know how to say it, but just blowing our minds. Stuff things we're not prepared for and things we're still wrapping our head around. But what we've seen and talked to is many, many innocent women and children who have been abused and who are being abused. We have a 3% conviction rate for rape in this state. We have legislators who are passing legislation to minimize, right now, passing legislation to minimize, the penalty for child trafficking in this state. At what point are the people in the state going to wake up and realize the corruption? Look at our representatives. Look at our governor. Anybody can look and see, how did we elect someone who's literally, it doesn't even take, the guy's not even, do you even think that guy's straight? Look at Romney. Look at Curtis. Look at our state legislators. The corruption in this state is out of control. And one of the things that we cannot sit by silently, and that Alexi and I refuse to sit by silently on, is the trafficking. It is the trafficking. It is the abuse of women. It is going on all the time in this state. We're talking to victim after victim, and it happens because it hides in the shadows. It happens because there are secret combinations in our justice system, in our political system, in our leadership at every level of this state. And it happens because we sit silently and because victims are afraid to speak up. This Wednesday in Manti, David Hamblin is on trial. He is the one who is his daughters. It was his 3 daughters that wrote the victim statements, that called out David Levitt, that called out Gordon Bowen, that called out 15 named perpetrators, none of whom have been investigated. Not one has been investigated, except David Hamblin, and it was because one of the things he admitted on camera that he had raped his girls. He is on trial in Manti this Wednesday. Everyone always asks, hey, Jason, we believe, we want to stand up for what's right. We want to get in the fight. What can we do? And I've always been told people, hey, call your rep, write your rep, go through those channels. But I believe the most effective thing we can do in standing against injustice is the same thing that has always worked. It is what our founding fathers did. It is what, anytime there's been a peaceful revolution, is when the people stand and say enough's enough, and they stand in the streets. They peacefully protest. This Wednesday in Manti at the courthouse, David Hamblin has a pretrial at 1:00. We will be there. Eventually, we're going to be on trial for speaking up against this. I would love to see Utah create a culture that stands up against injustice, not just online, when I appreciate all of you who share, who comment, and who are speaking up and fighting online, because I don't want to minimize the power you have online, because it is very powerful. But what I will tell you is, when you stand in physical presence, when you stand up in numbers with your neighbors, with us, that is what tyranny fears more than anything. That is why they feared what happened January 6th when the whole January 6th thing in 2020. They fear people speaking up. They fear the Tea Party movement. They fear you standing up and being physically in place. So I'm going to encourage, and this fight may not be for you, and this is a fight I will never invite anybody into because I know how dark it is and I know how scary it is. But if you feel called to stand and fight this fight, I would invite you to come down to Manti with us this Wednesday. We'll be down there. It starts at 1. We'll be down there early. And I would invite you to stand and in defense of these victims, these countless victims, many of whom we have now met personally and shed tears with as we've heard their horrific stories. This is a chance for you to do more than, and gosh, you guys have done so much. I hate mitigating what you've done. You guys have helped us financially. You guys are amazing. But if you feel called to do more, if you feel called to stand with us and with these victims, I would invite you to come out this Wednesday. I'll put a little note here. I'm going to share this on Instagram. I'll share it on YouTube. Also, I'm going to really start being much more involved on our Telegram channel because I can share YouTube videos of not just ours, other ones. I can share a lot more content there without worrying about it getting it taken down. So if you go to our website, there's a link for our Telegram. You can follow us there and we'll have more information there. But thank you guys for all you're doing. I can promise you this. The darkness that happens in the shadows of these mountains is being brought into the light, and it's because of you guys. It's because you guys are talking about it. The game has changed. The game has changed, and they know it. The battlefield has changed. You have power now that we didn't have before. KSL, Desert News, the garbage mainstream media has lost its foothold and its strength. People see through it, how fake it is, and how it's been implicit in corrupting the state and putting people's heads in the sand. But the people are waking up. You're waking up. The light is dawning. God is stirring, and the corruption is being exposed. And now it's time to stand together, shoulder to shoulder, and let these people know that we know who they are, and we will never be silenced. God bless you guys. If you want to come join us, come join us. There's a lot of stuff coming up this year. You've heard about Shalom Levitt, David Levitt's wife, speaking with one of the 12. No. We will not let this stuff happen in our backyard. Our children's lives are depending on it, and we will stand and fight for them. Thank you guys, and we'll look forward to seeing you out there on the battlefield.